about it, chat. So apparently, Sony executives delay Marathon indefinitely. Staff had no idea that Sony made the judgment of delaying Marathon. So let's find out real quick. I'm very curious on this. Super curious.
Well, everyone, the inevitable has just happened. PlayStation and Bungie finally admitted what everybody already knew. Marathon is not ready, and it will not release in 3 months. Even
a good thing, because if it actually did release in actual 3 months, it would have actually failed so massively. Well, even then, I don't think it's still going to be super successful. Like, it'll definitely have like a fan base, but I don't think it's going to be like super huge or anything like that, because I'm personally not a fan of extraction shooters. I just don't find the appeal of it.
before the plagiarism scandal, even before the alpha test, people doubted the September release date. It just felt wrong. And not just out of reflexive hate. This game had been marred in controversy. Bungie had been marred in controversy for years and years. But now, the companies are facing reality. After endless streams of concern, they have admitted that the player's voice was, quote, strong and clear. And the upshot is that Marathon...
You think so? You think so? Very strong and clear, huh? You know, the thousands of videos that have been made about Marathon.
is now in
It's
doubt.
ready. I'm ready to plug and play Cronus. Stop. No. Just stop it. Stop it.
Definitely delayed. Marathon's reveal 2 months ago started a fairly unbelievable string of problems. Now, on the surface, the reveal did look slick, polished, a new art direction, a very artistically yummy trailer, and yes, a new entry into the extraction gameplay genre. But audiences were immediately divided. Number one, they didn't recognize this new Marathon from the Marathon that they knew from decades ago. This felt like quite the miscalculation, but it's one that was compounded on because Bungie wasn't building this game for existing extraction fans. We'll certainly get on to how they felt soon. Now,
Yeah, because even then, even the extraction shooter genre is not that massive, right? Like, I don't think it's like a super massive genre. Or am I wrong? I could be wrong, but I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's like very it's very niche, you know?
Then came the closed alpha, the purely American alpha with heavily restricted codes, all despite many people wanting in. Pretty odd.
Wait. What are the qualifications of getting access to the alpha? Marathon closed alpha has a limited availability, meaning the only small percentage of applicants will get access to the test unless you receive a direct invite code. To qualify, players must register to the test section above. Must be located in North America, be 18 years or older, have access to a valid account on a support platform, have a valid Bungie.net account, in good standing. What does good standing stand for? What is that? What does that even mean?
Then the players who did get in, well, they found that something was off. PC players were outraged at mandatory aim assist.
Only going to ruin the PC part of the game. You're just watering down PC. You're making PC and mouse and keyboard players basically feel like shit.
Bungie later removed it.
Wait. Including disabling mouse magnetism? Wait, they put aim assist on mouse and keyboard for this game? Is that what I'm understanding here? Probably no history of any temp bans. Okay, I see. That's just weird.
The hero kits were kind of interesting, but they didn't feel balanced and they didn't feel fully developed. PvE elements did get some praise, but there were missing genre standards, and they got brutalized for that. No solo mode, no proximity chat. So if you were a diehard extraction fan, this game was really not trying to woo you over.
Yep.
And that was quite strange. It was a game that didn't look like its IP, entering a genre, but not specifically for players who actually like that genre. Which, you know...
That's so weird to hear aim assist on a mouse and keyboard. I don't know. I just find it so jarring to hear those words combinations together.
Would appear to be quite risky. Now, of course, the Bungie strength is bringing things to new audiences, but the closed nature of the testing meant that casual players, masses of casual players, couldn't discover if they liked the game. And then it got worse. Arc Raiders, another extraction shooter long in development, had a closed beta, and it went viral. If you're wondering why, it's because it had all the features that Marathon didn't, plus a heap of polishing. And then on top of all of that, the plagiarism hit. An artist accused Bungie...
Oh, dude, when the actual plagiarism hit, dude, I was like, this game is so dead in the water.
Of ripping off her designs. Bungie reviewed the claim. They admitted that it was true, that specific assets were in fact stolen. They promised to make it right with that artist. They blamed somebody who had left during pre-production.
That's so
but
funny.
With the broad years-long narrative going against the studio, especially the studio's leadership, and the specific narrative around Marathon going very bad very fast.
Let me see. So the Marathon art style is short thread. First of all, thanks to everyone for all the kind words and enthusiasm for the art style / direction of our announced trailer. It's been amazing to see. This was the result of many talented artists working together with the support of an amazing whatever that is. So you mean is that the girl from Ghost in the Shell? That looks like from the girl from Ghost in the Shell.
It was quite brutal. The art director, Joe Cross, really did become public enemy #1 for many people, and that meant that when he went onto this stream, it was a very...
Nobody wants a hero shooter. Nobody wants a HUD that glows like the sun. Nobody wants an extraction shooter with all these edges sanded off. Nobody wants a game that plagiarizes its entire art style. Nobody wants a game with 0 unique mechanics. Art Raiders. Why are there so many negative people in here? Oh my god, it's so fun. That's funny. I like that comment. That was a funny comment. I played COD probably way too young years ago, and I was less soft. I was less soft than the modern audience nowadays. No proximity chat is crazy. Yeah, they did not want it to add proximity chat because they did not want the toxicity of SPS, like literally but like FPS game. It has toxicity. That's just how it is. Wait, what game is this? Never heard of it. Must be trash. It's Marathon. An old game that literally has nothing to do with the old game. They decided to change this old IP game into like an extraction shooter. That's what they decided to do with it. With this IP. They thought to bring it back, but change it into an extraction shooter because they thought it was the smartest idea in their entire world.
Awkward situation. The plan had been to show gameplay and discuss Marathon, but, well, they had to do a review of all of their assets. And with this drama happening, they basically couldn't show any gameplay. That just led to a very awkward, very painful looking stream.
I love this one. That's my favorite meme right there.
Very awkward.
Plagiarism will make me God. I don't know how that started, but man, I love that meme. Good lord.
Very painful.
Extraction shooters is the future. Black Ops 7 better be an no, stop it. Stop. Shut up. No.
Stream, one where Bungie staff couldn't say anything about Marathon's development or how they would fix this newest problem.
If it was Faithful Marathon 2, would probably be a mash of Doom and Stellar Blade. You know what? I think I would probably love to see something like that. Because like when looking at at least the original Marathon gameplay, I was like, huh, it's kind of like a Doom inspired kind of game. So I'm like, you know, they could have just done something like that. You know, have it in the same, you know, I guess like have it a boomer shooter, but like in the, you know, in the more newer modern engine, you know, fancy graphics and everything.
Alone, the various other problems, and all of this in a world where Marathon was supposed to launch in September, just months away, which was never going to happen. Nobody in the public by that stage expected that it would hit its release date, and now the inevitable has thankfully finally happened. Now that we've got the lightning summary of how we got here, let's talk about the delay. So yes, it's delayed. Bungie gave no new release date, and in this Bungie.net update, they said they won't even
Yeah, but for a lot of older people though, but when they saw it and heard the announcement of the game itself, they're kind of like, huh? This is not my game. What is this?
talk publicly until later this fall. So it essentially seems that the old release date is in fact going to be the release date of a potential release date, or perhaps the release date of a potential release window, pending, changes and stuff. And it's also when we're going to get a progress update. And as for the progress that's going on, they outlined changes for 3 core areas that are all designed to address alpha criticisms. First, upping the survival game, so they're making the PvE and PvP more challenging and more rewarding. Second, doubling down on the marathon universe. Per reports, a 4th map that already was planned and going to be a thing would have been set.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't like the art style of this game. I actually don't. It just looks weird. It looks so plasticky. It looks so fake. It just looks like, I don't like it. It's just weird, like barf, they're literally using lime green, throw up lime green. Like, that's seriously like when someone who throws up or so, they have that specific color of throw up.
On the actual marathon, the actual ship, and the PvE part of it would have essentially been a Destiny raid tier puzzle thing. So
Yeah,
while it does
so
seem they
shit,
always had
that's it.
big,
The colors
cool
are
stuff
even
like
more
that
garbage,
planned,
yeah.
their framing here focuses more.
I don't really do, what is this, this is futuristic, right? I don't even do futuristic art, but I can probably do something better, to be honest.
On narrative fidelity, more narrative interaction. They promise a darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy.
Yeah, the
if you
color
want to know
palette
what
is
that
what I
means,
don't like
highly
about the game
recommend
itself.
Mandalore gaming videos. Third, then, addressing genre complaints. So proximity chat is coming, so are solo and duo.
Wow, they're actually adding proximity chat. That's crazy. Corporate minimalism, if it was a style. I guess it's you are correct. You're the minimalism. You know how it is now in modern day of technology. How everything is so nothing super crazy, like the early 2000s when all technology looked so weird and fancy and cool and everyone was experimenting. Now these day and ages, it's just slim black or slim white or certain selective colors,
Options. Of course, though, all this lacks detail, which to some will inspire confidence, but I actually do think it's fair. I think they haven't defined all of those details yet, because they evidently have a lot of work to do. Now, Bungie said there will be more closed testing, the alpha participants will return, and I believe they're already sending out more codes now. So, It's a simple and obvious plan. Bring new features, get feedback, then update accordingly, and all on a...
So basically, they're bringing in the stuff that should have been there in the alpha, decided to bring it in here, and we'll update it in September or in fall, and say, hey guys, look, we added these new features into the game. Are you guys excited? Also, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, looking at this character design, I hate this, to be honest. I don't understand, why don't you just use a kind of a robot android with normal skin texture, or he's wearing a mask or something, or having goggles to have the vision to see walls or something like that, or some kind of mask or something like that, I don't even know. I just don't like this. Bro, ugh. Well, that's a guy. That's not a girl. Just letting you know. That's a dude. That's just a weird looking dude is all, Hey, Knife. Always the shenanigans.
Not particularly firm public timeline. Here's the core truth, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong,
Most of this
Spectre.
game will not change, right? It's too big. Too much work is already done.
You know what I would do? You know what fun character I would like to create or so for a tank? I would like to create a big muscular kind of like a Russian dude or so. He would just have a very very gravelly deep voice with a beard and a mustache, and he's always happy all the time. And but he likes being he's like a little goober, right? But he's like a himbo. Yeah, he's like a himbo man. And he's basically he'd probably be more of a tank type of character. That's how I would make him, just a big old Russian guy with a beard and shit and whatnot,
Redesigned characters aren't going anywhere, neither is the presumed monetization model.
Just a goofy goober,
But
basically.
the hope, well,
Yeah, pretty much like almost like a combination of like Heavy from Team Fortress 2 and Reinhardt from Overwatch.
the hope is that if they can meet the feature demands from the more engaged genre fans, then they'll actually get a bunch of features, like say solos that a lot of people.
Oh, and also Zangief from Street Fighter.
Like anyway,
Yeah.
and that if they improve all of
A
the
mixture
other
of combination.
things, then perhaps everything else will fall into place. So, Bungie's developers are going to have a lot of work to do. They're thankfully going to get many more months to do that work than planned. But here's an interesting detail. According to Paul Tassi's sources, Bungie's staff found out about the delay at the same time that we did.
Wait, most of Bungie found out about the marathon delay right now? Marathon has been delayed and no new news was given. Marathon developer update. Thank you for not only for the passionate feedback of the marathon reveal of the alpha test, but also your patience while we took the time to listen closely. Through every comment and real-time conversation of social media, Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. Of course it has. We've taken this to heart, and we know that we need more time to craft marathon. No, duh. Of course you need more time to craft this game. Let me see. After much discussion within our team, we've made the decision to delay September 23rd. Wait, hold on, let me see. The alpha test created the opportunity for us to calibrate and focus the game on what will make it uniquely compelling survival under pressure, mystery, and lore around every corner, raid-like end game challenges, and Bungie's genre-defining FPS combat. Yes. Yes. I love it when someone says we are defining FPS games, you know? Raid Shadow Legends. We're using this time to empower the team to create an intense, high-stakes experience that the title, like Marathon, is built around. What am I reading, man? This means deepening the relationship between the developer and the game's most important voices, our players. Over the next few months, we'll continue closed testing, including participants from the alpha, to deploy gameplay updates and test new features as they come online. Big FPS. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Oh my god.
Why keep it secret? Well, presumably I would say to avoid more leaks, because the one thing that's been a total disaster around this is their public narrative. But here's the thing.
Why would people want raid mixed with PvP? There's a reason those two separate modes in D2. It's because it's the most... Look, dearly, you don't get it. It's the most revolutionary thing in the entire world, you know? That's how they said it themselves. We are making the most revolutionary game mode ever. Oh man, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to see the biggest trolling happening in that game mode.
Even us on the outside who have been paying attention to this closely have very much seen...
Is this actually just Destiny 2, but with like a marathon skin over it? I feel like this is Destiny, not Destiny 2, but Destiny 3. Is this actually Destiny 3 with like just a marathon skin over it? I feel like it is. It just gives me that same vibe, you know?
Weeks now that someone at PlayStation had already decided. The reason why is fairly simple. We saw their investor presentation. One thing is crystal clear. PlayStation is taking Marathon very, very seriously. It filled multiple slides in their recent investor presentation and their fireside chat. They framed
Whoa, let me see. Hold on. Wait.
multiple slides in their recent investor presentation and their...
Jesus Christ, there's 4 fucking Horizon stuff. Wait, where's Marathon at? Oh, there it is. New IP all the way over there. Track records of growing games IP into franchises with potential to grow into enduring franchises. God of War, MLB. That's MLB, right? MLB the show? Yeah. Gran Turismo, Spider-Man, Destiny, The Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon. I feel like Fair Games and Marathon are just not gonna do well. Like, they'll do all right, but I still think they're gonna do like pretty poorly. Like they'll probably you know, sponsor some streamers, some big streamers or so for like Marathon and Fair Game. It'll probably have like a certain peak at a certain, you know, at the early beginning of the game, and then it'll probably go all the way down afterwards. So
fireside chat. They framed Marathon repeatedly as core to next fiscal year plans. That means at any point between May 2020.
Oh my god, they're putting all their marbles in Marathon and Fair Game? Oh man, I would definitely not bet on that one, to be honest. I'd probably put my money somewhere else. If I was an investor and I was investing in a game studio, I would come back if we saw that. Oh man, dude.
2025 and April 2026. So I guess that's your very, very big launch window. And they positioned it as developing IP, right alongside the Ghost series and Astrobot. They also call out strong early engagement for Bungie's bold and innovative new title.
God, man, I hate it. Man, dude, I hate hearing from Bungie them being so innovative on FPS games. I'm just like, bro, come. You're not that guy, okay? You're not that guy, all right?
Which is a bloody hilarious statement given all the shit that's happened. But do you notice what they never said? They never said that it launches in September. Bear in mind, this was all weeks before the actual delay would be public.
Wait. If they delayed it, right? They delayed it. Do you think, like, it's going to be in the 2025 physical year? You think it's going to be at the beginning, like the beginning of next year? Like it's going to come out the beginning of next year? I don't know. That'd be interesting if it comes out like, because like it's supposed to come out in 2025, right? Physical quarter year, right? So I assume it'll be at like, I think the physical quarter year ends in like March, or is it April? Somewhere around there. It's either March or April. So I think it'll come out somewhere in that time frame at the beginning of the year.
Announced. And I think this all suggests something important here. When they put this together for investors, when, say, studio CEO Herman Hulst made his comments, the decision had already been made further up the chain. The evidence? Well, live services and Marathon came up as a standalone question in their pre-recorded chat. And I think it's fair to say that's a chat that is haunted by the ghost of Concord. That's because Hulst framed Concord as, quote, good work, and
you know, I should have played the Concord beta just to see how it felt. But I was busy playing another game, so I didn't get the chance to play it. So I should have played it. I should have played the Concord beta just to find out how that game actually feels. They released it along with GTA 6, and they will body GTA 6 with their FPS innovation. Oh yeah, because I forgot about that. Freaking GTA 6 is also coming out next year. Damn.
Big effort, but also insufficiently differentiated. Which, you know, doesn't sound amazing. But most importantly, he said this: we have reviewed our processes in the light of this, to deeply understand why the title failed to meet expectations.
Because the characters sucked. The art style sucked for Concord. What do you mean? What do you mean you need to deeply understand? There's no deeply understanding. This shit was terrible. God Lord. I'm gonna play it as Dot in Concord. Oh really? I'm like, the reason why is because nobody wants to cosplay any of the characters. Like literally, if no cosplayer wants to cosplay any of the characters that you make or so for your video game, it's already a failure immediately. I'm sorry, but that's just truth. Cosplayers will literally like breathe life into your game, and also like give you free advertisement as well. I'm just saying. Take a look at the fucking gacha game scene. For God's sakes. They make a lot of beautiful hot women and men. Why do you think they make so much money? Because they know their audiences. That's why.
To ensure we're not going to make the same mistakes again. Now, what are those new processes? Well, we can actually see those in Bungie's delay statement. Holst told investors that PlayStation was excited for release. He described the alpha response in very specific terms. We're monitoring the closed alpha.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people still cosplay 2B. The game, they haven't made a new game or anything like that. And they still cosplay as 2B. Even to this day. I can open up my Twitter account, scroll through my timeline, and probably find a 2B cosplayer. I would not be surprised.
Cycle the team just gone through, and some of that feedback has been varied, but that's super useful. That's why you do testing. You know what, Herman? Varied is true. It's charitable, but yeah, it's a true way to characterize things. But really what he's doing when he says that is he's selling investors on them making business progress. That as an overall system, Sony are no longer going to do Concords because their systems, the way they run their business, will no longer produce that sort of result.
Yes, we're going to have 25 Horizon remastered 3 times the remastered of The Last of Us. Yes, awesome. We're gonna have 25 different Spider-Man games, and we're gonna have a remastered for God of War Ragnarok 25 times. Oh my god. I can't wait. Can't wait to see, you know, Horizon 25 Dawn, you know, the 25th installment of Horizon Zero Dawn, you know?
So this tracks. The player engagement idea also resonates here. He talks as well about the validation of assumptions from developers, about test, iterate, test again. And if that sounds familiar, well, that's exactly how Bungie are introducing updates, testing features as they're ready. And throughout the presentation, which we'll dive into more later because, it's a very interesting one theme keeps on emerging, and that's PlayStation.
Horizon is the most mid Ubisoft like open world stuff. What do you mean? It's not from Ubisoft. It's from Guerrilla. It's from I think the studio is called Guerrilla Warface or Guerrilla Warfare, something like that. I don't remember. It's not from Ubisoft. And we're gonna have like 25 Bloodborne inspired skins, and they will never create a sequel out of spite. It's because Sony America does not want to create a Bloodborne 2 or a Bloodborne remaster or a Bloodborne PC port. No, Horizon Zero Dawn is not from Ubisoft. Yeah, Guerrilla Games. Developed by Guerrilla Games. That's why. But even then, what was I gonna say? But like, you know. It's not from Ubisoft, but might as well be. I've never played. I heard that the first one was pretty decently good, but apparently they changed a lot or so in the second one. That's why. Dragon's Card would be a cool remaster. Yo, if they do a Dragon's Card 3, like if they do that, can I voice 5 from that game? I'll do it. I'll do it 1000%.
Leadership being more involved in game release decisions and more involved in development reviews. Why? Well, it's fucking obvious, because they won't let studios take risks like Concord did. There is simply too much at stake. We recently praised how—
So basically we're just gonna get the same slop over and over and over again. Damn, Sony's gonna be well known for Horizon, Last of Us, God of War, and Spider-Man. That's it.
Drivers for good live service design
That's
over
it.
monetization.
That's all you're gonna get every single year, chat.
They kind of got FOMO right by making a live service feel live in a way that made sense for the video game bit, not just the business bit. And it seems that video really resonated with you guys. Holy shit, it exploded. Here's the flip side then. In this presentation, we learned that 54% of Helldivers' revenue comes from microtransactions from
And
the
you will
3.6
enjoy it.
million monthly players. That success, their
That's
first
all we needed.
non-MLB
Oh,
live
God.
service,
Oh, God.
basically made
No,
PlayStation
Stop it.
adamant that
Stop
they
it.
can do it again, that they need to do it again. Investors obviously love the potential here, and that's why, quote, they
Astro
remain
Bot
very committed to
Remastered.
building an
Bro, I would laugh my ass off if we actually get an Astro Bot Remastered, to be honest.
diverse and resilient live service portfolio. Of course, it is diverse. At the minute, it's just, diverse in terms of one is alive, one is dead, some are successful, others are killed in the cradle, which is not exactly the type of diverse they're really aiming for. The point, though, is very clear, that Helldivers shows, and again I quote, the level of success we achieve if we get everything right. That's obviously what they're shooting for. So now, they're doing everything that they can to get it right, because Marathon is their immediate future. There is the other game, Fair Games, that is still listed as upcoming, and that's especially relevant after Jade Raymond left Haven Studio. Apparently,
Let's see. PlayStation executive Jade Raymond leaves studio she founded. Wait, she made a new studio and she already left the studio? Oh, that's bad. That's already a foretelling of the future of that game. It came several weeks after the external test of Haven's first game, the online shooter Fair Games. According to people with knowledge of the matter, some developers at Haven were concerned about how the game was received and its progress. Said the people who asked not to be identified because they aren't authorized to speak publicly. Oh my goodness gracious me.
after poor internal testing, so I suppose they'll be doing more iteration of that one as well. But overall, the live services will continue, whether that's from partners like Arc System Works or doing a Marvel game, or internal teams like Bungie, because basically, even though Concord was a big failure, there's simply too much potential for another Helldivers in their view. So here's why, to them, Marathon won't be another Concord. Let's compare. Concord was revealed, it had poor reactions, poor beta response, then it was released anyway, and obviously it completely crashed and burned. Marathon then is not Concord. It's literally playing out in a different way. Sony are taking different actions. And we do know that significant audience interest exists. Not all of it is good, but at least that region-locked alpha did appear to have a lot of people wanting keys. The thing though is, for you and me as enthusiasts, Bungie's name isn't really what it used to be.
True.
But at least how Sony will see this is that a new Bungie game will probably attract sales regardless, even if it's just from the promise of a new game from the makers of Halo and Destiny. Now, again, as enthusiasts, those things may not mean that much to us. And we, having followed all the drama, will be very skeptical. They know that they're PlayStation. They're absolutely mass market, and something like this could go big. And because they've realized what they actually can do, ensure no crazy launch failure surprise. It's not that Marathon can't be Concord. If it was going to release in September, it very much could have been.
True.
It's far more that with a delay like this, PlayStation won't let Marathon be a Concord. Two failures like that in a row.
They can't let it be a Concord 2 because they're going to be a laughingstock to the entire internet, and then we're going to find out how much money they wasted too on this IP, and then we're just going to even make fun of them even more, you know? It has to be. That's the reason why they're delaying this game. I feel like they're only delaying it until like a few extra months though.
Especially with Fair Games looking a little bit rocky. Obviously, that would kill confidence. They need to show to everyone that they will not let it be a Concord because they have learned. The only question
No, they haven't. No, they have not. They have not learned.
If Bungie even can deliver, given how much of a hard time that studio has had to endure. And if it does fail, I have one prediction. I predict that Herman Hulst...
And they probably bought a whole bunch of cars from that one too as well, from those billions of dollars.
will not say that powerful people are out to get him and are paying for negative reviews. That may seem like a random prediction, but it is in fact based on what you'll learn in this video next.
I heard about that. I heard about that. Apparently, like, they paid the haters to hate on Mind's Eye, the greatest game in 2025, you know? But yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I heard about the delay because we did an interruption or so during a video on one of my uploads. So I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to do a full-blown video on it because I wanted to discuss about it specifically. I was about to die, but it was lovely to meet you with the accusations, Lamau. I'm glad you enjoyed to hang out with me. Hopefully you come around every so often, you know? You don't have to come all the time, you know, but who knows? If I manage to get a good amount of people in here who like, you know, likes to lurk and everything, you know, eventually get enough moolah to get us, you know, to get a second computer, start dual streaming on YouTube. That's the goal, anyways. To start multi-streaming, anyways. But we'll see what happens. All in due time. At the end of the day, everything is a patience. You got to be patient for me. So I'm not a millionaire. I'm poor like everyone else. But yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. But yeah, honestly, pretty freaking hilarious, to be honest. Pretty hilarious indeed. I still think it's gonna come out probably at the beginning of next year if they're trying to do like their physical quarter yearly revenue or their yearly, you know, papers and stuff like that, right? I feel like they're gonna delay it, but they're gonna push it into like the beginning of next year. I feel like that's how it's going to be. For at least for this game. Surely YouTube members soon. Well, of course I need to get me because I can't do it with this computer. I cannot dual stream with this computer. It is not strong enough for multi-streaming. So yeah. But anyways, that's the end of the video. And hey man, I have a suspicious feeling that it's not gonna do very well. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And peace. Just get a new PC. Yeah, we'll just charge it on your card, you know?